So we've spoken about who's going up in the Championship this season, but who's going up in League One? Let's talk about it. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. A bit of League One content coming at you today. If you'd like to see a little bit more League One content on the channel, then make sure to drop a like on today's video. Now, a few weeks ago, we went ahead and calculated how the Championship table would finish if your club matches all the results from now on with the outcome of the reverse fixture. What I've gone ahead and done is done the same for League One. And man, is it an interesting outcome. Now, as you can see on screen now, this is the current standings in and around the top of League One. It is incredibly close at the moment, and what makes it even more interesting is that the majority of these sides still have to play each other in the remaining games they have left, and absolutely everyone at the moment in the top half seems to be banging form. But without any further ado, let's jump into it. So if we're going off this projection, coming in as the relegated 4 clubs for League One, we'd have Crewe, Morecambe, Doncaster and Gillingham. At the bottom of League One at the moment, it's a little bit of a train wreck really in terms of absolutely everyone's form in there. No one can buy a win at this point in time. But Gillingham, the one club who do slide into that relegation zone, who aren't there at the moment, amazingly so, of their 6 remaining fixtures, they actually lost all of them in terms of the outcome of the reverse fixture earlier on in the season. So based on this model, Gillingham projected to pick up 0 points from their last 6 matches, which probably won't be the case. But this would also see the likes of Crewe, Morecambe and Doncaster relegated. Then making up the rest of the bottom half of League One, we've got AFC Wimbledon just about surviving along with Fleetwood Town. We then got the likes of Lincoln, Shrewsbury, Cambridge, Burton, Accrington Stanley and Cheltenham. Now at this point in time, AFC Wimbledon are on an absolutely awful run of form in League One. Fleetwood aren't faring much better either, but because of the outcomes of the reverse fixtures of the games that they've still got to play, they're both projected to survive, although I'm not sure at this point I'll be backing either of them over Gillingham, to be honest. Making it into the top half, we have Charlton coming in 12th place, who seem to have stumbled on a little bit of form recently, having won their last 3 matches. Above them in 11th, we have Bolton, who are quite a fascinating team really, because in 2022, I mean, they've been performing as good as a top 6 side. They've won 10 of their last 15 matches. It just feels like this run of form and the momentum they picked up lately has probably come a little bit too late in the season for them to properly challenge the top 6, and it feels like heading into next season they're seriously building a little bit of momentum about them. I think their next game's away at Wigan, which is going to be, a really interesting one to see the levels between those 2 sides at this point in time. Coming in 10th place, we then have Ipswich Town, who, to be honest, have been done a little bit dirty on this projection, really, because a lot of their remaining games, the reverse fixture would have been played when Paul Cook was their manager, and they weren't exactly the same team compared to how they are now. I still think that pound for pound, Ipswich have one of the best squads in League One. I still think a lot of their players will get a game in the Championship, to be honest, but since McKenna's come in there's been an obvious upturn in form. They're currently on the 2nd longest unbeaten run in League One, stretching back to their last 11 games. I think that since McKenna's been in there, they've been averaging just around 2 points per game, which is promotion form. It's just a case of the start of the season really holding them back, really. Don't get me wrong, they could go ahead and still sneak in there. I think at the moment they're only 5 points or so off the top 6, albeit teams around them have played less matches than Ipswich, but with a few slip-ups from the teams above them, some big wins in some of the games they have left, who's to say it can't happen? But they are relying on a little bit happening, as well as them continuing their good run. Coming in 9th place, we then have Portsmouth, and it's amazing League One this season, isn't it? Just how many sort of big clubs there are, and this really speaks to the level, actually, that this projection has Portsmouth finishing in 9th place on 73 points, and to be honest, getting nowhere near the top 6 in terms of the point tally that's going to take. It looks like it's going to be a fairly low tide at the bottom of League One this season, which of course has the reverse effect on the top half of League One, where it's looking like you're going to need to get quite a lot of points to sneak into the top 6. This is where things get ridiculously tight though, because coming in 8th place on a massive 81 points and missing out on the top 6, we then have Sunderland, now obviously under the management of Alex Neil, and I do hope that whatever happens between now and the end of the season for Sunderland, I do hope they give Alex Neil the proper opportunity, a full season transfer window under his belt heading into next season. But the competition at the top of League One this season is ridiculously high. Even with this projection, to be honest, because this still has Sunderland picking up 14 points from their last 7 matches, which is 2 points per game. And so far this season, Sunderland have averaged under 2 points per game. They've averaged 1.7. So this projection right here predicts Sunderland to improve and still not make the top 6, which shows the cut-off point for how high the barrier is actually going to be. Sunderland still have some really tough matches to come as well. They still have to play the likes of Oxford, Plymouth, and Rotherham. It's going to go right down to the wire, this one. And this is probably one of the biggest calls of the video, because based on the outcome of the reverse fixtures, Plymouth would miss out on the playoffs, also finishing on 81 points. Now, Plymouth have had a fantastic season. I know that Preston and Plymouth fans have had their banter earlier on in the year because of the whole Ryan Lowe situation and everything like that, but after a little bit of a stumble, they've managed to regain their form. Schumacher's doing a really good job there at this point in time. And really the only thing that counts against Plymouth at this point in time is their running is absolutely awful in terms of the quality of sides they've still got to play. 5 of their last 6 remaining fixtures are all against sides going for the top 6 this season or automatic promotion. They've still got to play the likes of Oxford, Wycombe, Sunderland, Wigan and MK Dons, and based off the outcome of the reverse fixtures, Plymouth would pick up 7 more points from this point onwards from their remaining 6 matches, which would see them miss out on the top 6 on 81 points, which would be absolutely gutting. It was a bit of a damning result last time against Ipswich, 1-0 in that game. Going into this weekend against Oxford is absolutely massive now for Plymouth. So coming in the first playoff spot, we have Wycombe with a massive 83 points. Wycombe actually performed really well against the sides that they've still got to play in the reverse fixtures earlier on in the season. So much so that they actually picked up 17 points from their remaining 7 matches, which would be absolutely massive, picking up 17 points from a possible 21 available. And it's going to take that sort of run from all these sides that are about sort of 7th to 10th in League One at the moment to go ahead and sneak into the top 6. But we know what Wycombe are all about under Gareth Ainsworth. And to be honest, their run from now until the end of the season isn't looking all too bad compared to some of the competitors that they've got around them. You know, they've got games against the likes of Doncaster, Cambridge, Gillingham, Wimbledon, Burton, which you'd all expect Wycombe to be the favourites in. They do have 2 tricky matches though against both Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday, but the advantage Wycombe have is they are at home in both of those matches. Coming in 5th place, we then have Oxford United, who are projected to pick up 14 points from their remaining fixtures, and they come in 5th place on today's rankings. Oxford have finished in the top 6 in back-to-back seasons, so this would be their 3rd consecutive year in the top 6 should they finish in there once again. I know that Carl Robinson isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I've always quite liked him really. I think that Oxford play some quite nice football. Obviously it was against Blackpool last time that they lost out to in the playoffs for. But Carl Robinson's sides in years gone by, I remember Preston being promoted the year of Carl Robinson's MK Dons side that were really good that year. They definitely still have some tricky matches to come though. They've still got the likes of Plymouth, Sunderland, MK Dons and Rotherham to play, so by no means are Oxford a guarantee in the playoffs, but they certainly have that know-how of how to get in there. After that, and in 4th place, we have Sheffield Wednesday coming in with 84 points. This right here is projecting them to pick up an extra 15 points between now and the end of the season, which would secure their place in the top 6. Quite like the look of Sheffield Wednesday in the second half of the season. In terms of the overall form table in the calendar year of 2022, Sheffield Wednesday are 4th when it comes to teams in League One at the moment. They've really sorted out their defensive record. They've been quite strong in that aspect, keeping 7 clean sheets in their last 13 matches. Good to see Jordan Storey doing quite well there, obviously out on loan from Preston North End. And they still have quite a few players left over from that Championship season who have served them quite well this season. Barry Bannon, probably the best player in League One. But once again, like a lot of the other teams around them, they do have a fairly tricky run-in from now until the end of the season. Games against the likes of Bolton, MK Dons, Wycombe and Portsmouth all won't be easy. Coming in 3rd place and then just missing out on automatic promotion, we have MK Dons, who this is projected to only pick up an extra 10 points between now and the end of the season. I think that based on their current form, they're pretty much bound to outperform that with the way they're currently going. In League One in this calendar year of 2022, no team has picked up more points than MK Dons, have 38 points they've collected in this calendar year, having only lost 1 match. Liam Manning's done an absolutely excellent job there at MK Dons, because I think at the start of the season, quite a few people were fancying MK to be quite strong, but with the disruption of losing Russell Martin when they did, you know, I was someone who thought that maybe that would have disrupted the formula there a little bit, but they've certainly got into their swing in the second half of the season, and at this point in time, are breathing down the necks of Wigan and Rotherham in terms of the automatic race. And with the way they're going at the moment in terms of how they keep on winning, certainly wouldn't rule out a top 2 finish. But once again, they do have some tricky games still left to play. They still have the likes of Oxford, Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth to come. Coming in second place and finishing on a massive 97 points if all the results of their remaining games were to be the same as the outcome of the reverse fixture, we've got Rotherham coming in here. Now, Rotherham are to League One what Norwich are to the Championship, really. Always absolutely smash it at this level, but never quite have managed to establish themselves in the tier above. They've still got the spine of that side from the Championship last season, a top manager at this level in Paul Warne as well, and even despite a little bit of a wobble recently, I think it's only 1 win in their last 5, they are still in an incredibly strong position, you know, mostly due to that unbelievable run that they went on from sort of September up to February, where I think they only lost like 2 games within that period. They've been by far and away the best defensive unit in League One so far this season, having only conceded 25 goals. And even with that little bit of a wobble that they've had recently, they do still have a 4-point lead over MK Dons. But coming in first place and storming League One with a massive 99 points, we have Wigan Athletic, who are looking in a very strong position for promotion at this point in time. Not just their form, but the fact that they have 3 games in hand on Rotherham, who are just 1 point above them at this point in time. This right here has them projected to pick up an extra 20 points in their remaining matches, and honestly, I wouldn't put it past them, given the games that they've got coming up. I'd actually suggest that out of everyone in the top 6, Wigan potentially have the best run-in from now until the end of the season. They've got a really tasty looking game against Bolton coming up next, but after that, they've only got one side to play who's currently in the top 6, that's Plymouth, albeit they still have a lot of other potential banana skins to come up against the likes of, you know, Portsmouth away and Ipswich away. But overall, it's a really decent looking run there for Wigan with games in hand, and it would be nice to see them back in the Championship, you know, another sort of northwest side added back into the equation, potentially with Burnley coming down from the Premier League as well. It could be quite the year in the Championship next season for northwest sides. And I do remember going to Wigan actually in pre-season with Preston, and I remember being really impressed with them, so I'm not massively surprised that they've managed to do so well this season. But there we have it, guys. That is how League One would finish if the results of all the remaining fixtures was to be exactly the same as what happened in the reverse fixture earlier on in the season. I want to get your guys' thoughts though on the promotion race. Who's going up in League One? Do you agree, disagree with that top 6 right there? It's probably going to be quite close, isn't it? But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. So as always, if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and if you would like to see some more League One content for the rest of the season and heading into next season as well, make sure to show some support on today's video. Apart from that though, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.